Good evening, everybody. This is Tammy with the Forgiveness Connection, and I'm coming to you live for your episode number 46 of Forgiveness on the Fly. A little bit of a disclaimer for tonight. I want to make everybody aware that the topic tonight is another difficult one. It is grief. And if you're struggling right now with grief of the loss of somebody close to you, your mom, your baby, your husband, then I just want to take this moment to say that this might be a difficult one for you. And if there's somebody else that's with you there at your house, maybe you could just go sit by them while we do these statements. And so you won't have to go through it alone. The other thing is you can always just not watch it live right now and go back and watch it later when you're feeling stronger and feeling like that you have somebody there that can love and support you. Grief is hard. Grief doesn't look the same in two different, for two people. It doesn't look the same for two situations. It may feel completely different each time. And I want to just encourage you that if you're not seeing somebody for counseling, that you go and reach out to a counselor, get yourself on the books, get seen by somebody so that you can just have a person for moral support and love while you're going through grief, because there's no roadmap for grief. Like I said, every time it's different, and you think you're doing great and you're going right along, and then it whacks you upside the head, and then you're right back in the bed again, feeling sad. And this is, about the loss of mom. That's what we're specifically going to talk about tonight. But if you lost a husband or a boyfriend or a stepchild through like a divorce or a breakup, that's still grief, people. And it's even harder sometimes, I think, if that doesn't sound too unsympathetic to the people that have had the loss that comes from death, because the person's still here and they're still living their life and they're still doing all the things. They're just not doing the things with you. So that's a hard one too. So I just want to love and encourage on everybody that if you're going through grief, you're not alone. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to use my forgiveness card a little bit too, so that way you can know how easy it is to walk yourself through a grief forgiveness with one of the cards. And I'm happy to mail you one out if you just let me know. So I forgive myself for the times I wasn't there for my mom. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for the times I was off doing my own life and I wasn't there. And now that I want her in my life and need her in my life, she's not here for me. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for believing I'm always going to feel this way. I'm always going to feel this grief and loss, and I'm never, ever going to be able to get over the loss of my mom. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for the times I distract myself and I just go through the motions and I don't think about her because I can't bear to think about how she's not here anymore. And deep breath in. I forgive myself for believing it's all my fault. Our relationship, the way it was before she died, and the status that we were at. And I grieve not being able to go back and get more time with her. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for the times my behavior was selfish and it hurt my mom's feelings. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for the times I was annoyed by her because she called a lot, or she expected more of me, or she didn't understand what I was going through. And instead of pulling her close and cherishing her like I would today, I pushed her away. And I regret not having her now and the conversations we never got to have. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for wanting to go back in time and for wanting her to know my child and for wanting her to have been a part of all of these years of my life that I've had to go on without her. Deep breath in. I forgive you, Mom, for leaving. I forgive you for having to go. I forgive you for not telling me how sick you were. I forgive you for everything you held on to as far as emotions that you didn't work through, that made a disease easier in your life, made it easier for you to get this cancer that hurt you and took you from us. Deep breath in. I forgive myself for believing that I'll never live up to the kind of mom my mom was. I'll never be that person. I'll never be as kind. I'll never be as loving. And I'll never be as giving as she was. And that makes her absence even more evident in my life now. Deep breath in. I say yes to this grief and this extreme anguish that I feel when I think about losing you, Mom. And I call it all up out of every cell of my mind, my body, and my spirit. And I release it to God. And I ask Him to help heal my heart. Deep breath in. I ask you to forgive me, Mom, for all the stuff I put you through, for moving away, for not being there for you, for not visiting, for the decisions I made that stressed you out, that you couldn't help me with, and that I wouldn't have listened to even if you would have tried. Deep breath in. I forgive cancer for taking people we love. I forgive disease and illness, and I forgive the people in the world that lead to the heartache and the decisions that keep people sick and dying. And deep breath in. I forgive myself for believing I can't have a good life without you, Mom. And I have to hold on to this grief and even depression as a way of remembering you and staying connected to you in love. Deep breath in. I ask God to help me let go of the grief and to take a step forward tomorrow and to breathe in and breathe out and do my best to live your honor out in my life rather than living out the grief of the loss of you in my life, which affects my whole family and my kids. Deep breath in. I forgive grief for kicking me in the teeth and kicking me when I'm down and making my life harder when I thought I had made progress this past year. Deep breath in. I forgive grief for separating me from people I love and for taking the good parts of me away. Deep breath in. Without holding space for this grief, I open massive space where God can comfort me. I open space where I can love and offer forgiveness, where I can acknowledge disease and discomfort within my body, and I can take care of myself better so that I'm not faced with a diagnosis down the road that takes me from my people that love me. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid it'll always feel like this. And I'll always have this regret about losing my mom and the time we didn't get together. Deep breath in. If I could go back and talk to my mom before she left us, she would tell me to live my life. She would tell me to move forward. She would tell me that she lives. She lives in the trees. She lives in my baby girl's face. She lives in the mountains. She lives in my heart and in my soul. She's a part of me that can never be taken. That's the part I choose to focus on. I choose to focus on the gift that my mother gave me that is a spirit of love, of connection, of peace, and living life. Not regret, not depression. She wouldn't want that for me. Deep breath in. Without this pattern, I continue to honor my mother every day of my life by living healthy, by living full of life, by connecting my family versus disconnecting it, and by choosing to be gracious and kind to other people. Deep breath in. I love and accept myself, bowing in honor, not only to my mother, but to my father. They gave me life, and I choose to bow in honor to the generations before me that created me, created life, and made it possible for me to also create a life and to move forward. Deep breath in. Without this pattern, I'm free. I give love and honor to my mother, And I honor her spirit every day, not just on the anniversary of her death or her birthday or a loss or a holiday. I honor my mother every day. And I am okay recognizing those things that make me just like her. The good, the bad, the ugly. That's a connection to her that I can hold. And deep breath in. I love and accept myself, loving my mother in life and loving my mother in death, honoring her every day and moving forward. Deep breath in. All right, everybody, that's it for tonight. Those were the affirmations for grief and grieving the loss of your mother. I know this was a tough one for some people, so if you need somebody to talk to, please reach out to me. My name is Tammy. I'm with the Forgiveness Connection, and I'm a little holistic counseling center in downtown Summerville, South Carolina, and I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget, forgiveness really is the key to your healing and moving forward. So give me a call if you're ready to start your forgiveness work today. Thanks, and I'll see you again tomorrow for another episode of Forgiveness on the Fly. Have a great evening.